with the Guido and the puppy. We're gonna go for a nice late night walk because we ate too much today.
We stuffed our faces.
What did we eat today?
For lunch, we had banana splits and the world's best banana splits, which are at the Sweden Cream in Mankato, Kansas. Then for dinner, we had the world's best chicken sandwich, which is, of course, is Popeyes, or as they say in my country, Popeyes. Look, it's a little prairie wagon. Who wants to go for a ride?
Yeah, let's go.
Can you see it like that, all lit up pretty at night?
It looks ghostly.
See, woo!
The ghost is driving it.
Yeah, a lot different than it looks in real life. We do have some cool solar lights on it, though.
Okay, let's get going. Which way are we going? North, south, east, west? Hey, Neil!
I guess let's go west, young man.
Okay.
Oh, did you turn your Wi-Fi off? Because it's probably trying to link up to the
house.
Oh,
yeah, I'll turn the Wi-Fi off now. Now?
Yeah, how do I turn my Wi-Fi? Still connected to you. I could be your Wi-Fi.
There's the beautiful lights of the house. And beyond that, the beautiful lights of
Let me see what it looks like at night. Show our beautiful fairy house. We live in a little magical fairy kingdom on the prairie.
Something like that.
So what's everybody up to tonight, y'all? What's going on?
Sunday night. Hey, Beth.
Hey, guess what, y'all? I got a side hustle now, slanging pizzas for Pizza Hut. And last night, what did I do? Tell them what I did.
He made $176 in tips, and he broke the record for pizza deliveries.
That's right, y'all. They said I now hold the record, and that's only after like a week of doing this. They said I now have the record for the most deliveries in one day. Yeah, I beat the old record, I think, by 1.
Oh.
And that was, what I did was 24 deliveries.
Hey, 9 Acre. They say that they're on Peaceful Dez's live and that Beth is looking at fonts.
Ooh, that's my cup of tea.
What's the best font ever?
Tiza is the best font.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of my favorites. You know
what the most... wow, that's something for your record-breaking skills.
Thank you. And plus, that's me getting used to a new town where I don't know all the streets, so I was hustling. I was running up to them doors.
And then Neil says we're designing our logo for YouTube.
Oh, awesome. Hey, and I want to tell you...
9 Acre says hi, by the way.
Oh, hi, 9 Acre. Who is 9 Acre? I forgot. It's not fair because there's so many channels with acres. There's 5 acres, 9 acres, 20 acres. So I can't keep track of y'all.
Where's 9 Acre at? Like, where are you a Canadian? A lot of acre farms are in Canada.
Anyway, remind us who you are, and we'll try to eventually learn to remember who you are. I know we've seen you before.
Neil says that they established their YouTube page. They just don't have any videos yet. But they should be on their way.
Well, in the words of a sage, experienced YouTuber, hit record.
9 Acres says Kansas.
What?
And Beth says they're Dale and Lisa.
Okay, I don't know if I'm familiar with Dale and Lisa. But it sounds, 9 Acre sounds familiar. What part of Kansas are you all in? We're up near Beloit.
We're the 1 acre farm.
Yeah, we do. We have a 1 acre. We're just an hour northwest of Salina.
We're the 1 acre dirt farm.
And I was on the subject of fonts. I was saying one of my favorites is Tiza. And one of the most overused fonts is Bleeding Cowboys.
I was going to say something about cowboys.
Yeah, there's one called, it's either Bleeding Cowboy or Cowboys. And I see it everywhere on posters. Like, you know, people post posters in different towns. And I see it on the internet. It's like, it's so recognizable. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is a cool font, which is apparently what everybody thought. And now it's like, I will now. I try not to touch it. Actually, I did use it on one of our first videos, the rodeo prayer. That's the font I used, which is like way too overused now.
Dale and Lisa say that they were the hosts, or one of the hosts of the Last Chance Cook-Off.
Oh, okay. Well, what part of Kansas are you all in? Why haven't we met up yet since you're fellow Kansans?
Because they probably don't like us.
Yeah,
Nobody likes us.
That's true. It's true. Most people don't like us. But at least we're entertaining.
Sometimes. That's a stretch.
we're something.
He says, we are from over in southeast Kansas.
Oh, well, that's why we haven't met you.
We're north central.
That's as far from us as you can get, is southeast.
We just went through there.
Yeah, we were.
Not long ago.
We went down to visit Dodge City just because we'd never been.
No, that's southwest. We went
did they say
southeast.
Did they say southeast?
Yes.
Oh, okay, my bad.
And we went that's like Coffeyville through there not long ago because we went down to Texas.
Yeah, actually, the first time we ever saw Kansas was the southeast. We saw Fort Scott.
Beth said, "Hey, who are we? You guys are from Alaska. Of course, we wouldn't forget where you're
from. Canada. They're from Louisiana.
Louisiana, that's right.
Louisiana. But yeah, our first place we ever visited in Kansas was Fort Scott.
Oh, as you said that, or a little bit before you said that, you said we are over by Fort Scott.
Hey, so we know exactly where you're at. And here's what I remember about Fort Scott. They had a cute little downtown area with a lot of fun little antique stores. And they had, wait for it, the best waitress we've ever had.
Your face is so spooky.
We ate at a little diner there. And it's funny because I'm kind of a food snob and I always complain, I'm always nice to the people, but I complained to Corrine like, oh, they took too long. They didn't fill up our drinks and this and that. This waitress literally did everything to perfection. And she was a young lady. She was probably like 18, 19 years old. But I was like, this is the first time I've ever had perfection in wait service. Like, she is amazing. And I left her a really big tip.
Neil said, Coffeyville, I'm kin to the Dalton gang. Are you really? And then Beth said, I thought we were from Kentucky. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, Beth, but you're not.
That's where I used to think they were from for a while.
Oh, yeah?
I was confusing them with, I think it was with Dwayne.
Yeah, it's because we had like a lot of people talking with us from Kentucky, so.
Yeah.
I think that was about around the same time that you guys started popping up.
But anyway, Fort Scott is a big reason we moved to Kansas because that was the only place we went in Kansas. We literally were driving on our coast-to-coast road trip, and we were driving down Missouri, and I said, oh, we got to slip into Kansas so we can say we've been to Kansas. So we just slipped across into Fort Scott, and we really liked it, and then we left. And then a year later, when we were starting to think about moving out to the Midwest, I had a really good impression of Kansas because of Fort Scott. But I didn't... It seems like at the time we were looking, we couldn't find any properties that worked for us down there. And that's kind of what brought us here. We moved here more for the property than for the area.
So Dale said, did you eat at New Grill Burger and Fry Diner?
You know, I couldn't tell you the name, but I can tell you it was just off of it wasn't right in the downtown area, but it was like just leaving it.
Yeah, wasn't it just a little bit north?
So that might have been
the northern part of the town.
I think it was. I think it was just north, but I'm not 100% sure. I remember it was like when we left there, we immediately crossed like this little bridge. It was kind of a cute little bridge, and it was just right down from the restaurant. That might have been it.
It's a cute, like old-timey 1950s kind of.
Yeah, it kind of had the old diner feel to it.
Yeah.
But it was just like a block away from like the general downtown area.
And Beth is relieved that she's not from Kentucky.
Oh, what's wrong with Kentucky? Kentucky is beautiful.
Kentucky is pretty cool.
We like the politics of Louisiana better. Kentucky has gotten pretty liberal.
And he said, yes, that's it. He or she said, yes, that's it. Because I don't know if it's Dale or Lisa.
Oh, cool. Well, gal. I have no idea what her name was.
She's probably not working there anymore.
Yeah, she was probably just working through high school or college or something. She was a young gal, either high school or college age.
Unless it's a family affair. He said, did you go to the fort while there? Nope.
Well,
we went to, it wasn't really open, was it?
Yeah, no, it wasn't open because of COVID, but we did like walk around a little bit on the outside, but I think like there was nothing, no tours or anything going on.
He says it's Dale.
Oh, so, okay. So we did walk on the outside of it and look at the buildings. I think I took a few pictures, but yeah, it was like our road trip was just like a couple months after the pandemic started. So most stuff, especially government stuff, was all closed.
Yeah, that was like our only impression of Kansas. We just swooped into Fort Scott area and then swooped back to Missouri.
Well, because our goal was to get to the East Coast, but we were trying to see a little of each state, and so that was our little taste of Kansas.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing we did see it because that gave us a good, there's a lot of other towns in Kansas where if we had seen them first, we probably wouldn't have moved.
Yeah, Fort Scott is a good area.
And actually, originally, in full disclosure, we were looking at moving to Nebraska, but couldn't find any properties there that we liked. So then I was like, well, we liked Kansas, so let's check Kansas out. But yeah, we were looking for some rural living. And
Dale
we definitely got it.
In your live chat when you guys protested at the movie theater.
Oh,
thank you, Dale.
Cool.
Well, we really appreciate your support.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of stuff like that, but sometimes I just feel like I'm supposed to do that. And that was kind of a neat thing because we were able to engage in some really good conversations, and I think definitely made some people think about it, what was going on.
Yeah.
And we were really
not just let it go by the by.
Yeah, we were really disappointed.
Anything about it.
We were really disappointed that with all the churches in that town, that no pastors or anybody stepped up and said, "Hey, what's going on here? Why are we showing an LG whatever movie
as the
official like free Christmas movie of the town that they do every year?" I was like, how did nobody? I contacted our old pastor, and he was kind of like, "Oh, I didn't realize what was going on. We were busy with other stuff." And I was like, how did nobody in town? It's a big deal that they do this free movie every year. But anyway, that's why we got to be awake to what's going on in our communities. It's like it's hard to control the direction of the country, but we definitely have a lot of say when it comes to our own, like, especially if we're in a small town like we are, and like you have a lot of say and a lot of push. So if people would have stood up to it, then I think something could have been accomplished.
Yeah, I agree. And that really does work. Just like Macy's used to support Planned Parenthood, and then people protested against that, and they decided to change their policies. So yeah, it really does work.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all are aware what's going on now. They're trying to. So now in Kansas, it's really sad. Abortion is now legal right up till birth. But now their governor, good old Laura Kelly, is trying to make it legal even after birth. So they tried to pass a bill that says if an abortion fails, which it actually does, sometimes abortions fail and the baby is born alive. There's actually a lot of people that are alive today because their abortion failed. And so they have a bill saying if the abortion fails, the doctor is required to provide medical life-saving attention to the baby if it comes out and it's still alive. And they say Laura Kelly is planning on vetoing it. And hopefully, we're hopeful that there's enough legislators to override her veto, which is a distinct possibility. Because think about how sick that is. She doesn't want to have a law saying that if a baby comes out alive, they have to help it. Because what has happened in some states, it's actually legal to let the baby just lay on the table until it dies.
Yeah.
I mean, how sick is that?
A little child.
I mean, it's bad enough to kill a baby in the womb, but it's like even worse when it's now out in the world and obviously a living thing, and to say, oh, well, the mom didn't want it, so we're just going to leave it to die on the table.
Dale says we must all stand together against the sins of this world. Yes.
Amen.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. It's getting harder and harder, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're complacent and do nothing, then the wickedness of this world will just swoop in and overtake everything.
Yeah.
You do have to stand up against it.
Yeah, it kind of upsets me that Roe v. Wade went down, what was that, 30 years ago or whatever? And the adults of the world didn't do much. They just kind of rolled over and said, oh, well, it's legal now. They're going to proceed to kill millions of babies. It's like people should have been marching in the streets.
Says Laura Kelly is horrible and was only elected by 2 cities in the whole state.
Yeah. Well, that's how it is with every state. If you look at an election map, the whole U.S. is red with a bunch of blue dots where the big cities are. Like America is overwhelmingly conservative. It's just the cities in every state. Because people even say like, oh, California is so liberal. It's the same in California. As soon as you leave the cities, you find nothing but conservative folks. I mean, we were in Northern California during the pandemic, and they completely refused to like do all the lockdowns and stuff. We were up in the area of like Anderson and Redding and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, they wouldn't do it. But down in LA, they made sure everything was locked down tight.
Can you scoot over to the middle?
Yeah, people think even like California is so liberal. It's not. California is super conservative, but like Kansas, it's got a few big cities that skew everything to the left.
Neil says y'all are bundled up like it's winter.
Yeah, we had a temperature drop. It's like, I think it's almost down into the 30s tonight.
Yeah, it was.
It's weird.
It was in the 90s a few days ago, and then it's supposed to be in the 70s tomorrow, so that's not bad, but overnight it's supposed to freeze tonight.
Yeah, it's supposed to get down to 26, I think I saw.
And Dale says it's so cold out.
Yeah. Yeah, Kansas is a bizarre state with the weather sometimes. But hey, at least it's not windy. We don't even mind the cold. If it's not windy, the cold doesn't hurt so much. But it's when that wind kicks up that then it really gets you.
Just said dropped 30 degrees yesterday.
Yeah, sounds about right. Pretty similar to here.
Yeah, I love the sunny, warm weather though. I can't wait till it gets back up there.
Yes, yes, bring on the sunshine.
So where did we go today?
We went to Salina. Salina, the big city.
We brought Mom. She really enjoyed that. She doesn't get out much these days because she's had some health problems, but
yeah,
she really enjoyed going and shopping at Kohl's. They had all these great deals today. They had 50% off of their clearance prices. So they had the clearance prices and then an additional 50% off of that. So I got a couple of pairs of pants for a really great deal.
Nobody cares about your pants. Just kidding.
Hey, Eric. He said, yeah, it's the wind that blows.
Is that Eric? Is that Eric from Kansas?
What?
Good to see you, buddy.
A bunch of Kansans in here. We got.
Hey, does Eric in 5 acres, 9 acres? How many acres?
9 acre. Dale.
9?
Yeah, 9, and his name is Dale.
Well, I'm gonna call him 9 acres.
Okay.
Actually, Dale was the name of my uncle, who's no longer with us. Yeah. So Eric, do y'all know each other? I hope so, because you guys probably don't live too far from each other.
Eric says Kohl's is awesome. We agree.
Yeah, I like Kohl's. Like their regular prices are crazy expensive, but they always have some good sales, and then they give you that Kohl's cash. It's like crack, keeps you coming back for more. They know you're gonna spend more.
Yep. Oh, yeah. He says Dale and I are pretty close, I think.
Yeah, I would think. I can't remember what town Eric is in, but I know you're somewhere heading toward Wichita.
Dale said close to Fort Scott. So.
Yeah, Eric, aren't you somewhere around Wichita? I always think of you as somewhere down south of us.
Says Dale says we're about 2 hours from each other. That's how they get you at Kohl's crack.
Yeah, they should call it Kohl's crack, right? Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, I got to tell them what I bought. So I bought these two. They were on clearance, so they were normally like $70 or something.
I smell skunks, so look around.
Yeah, they were normally like $70, but they're on clearance. I got them for like.
Hey, look over here, please. Okay, not there.
I think I paid like $12 for each of them. It's those. They're these little ghosts from Pac-Man, and you plug them in.
Ugh, let's turn around. It's really
getting strong. Yeah, the skunk smell is strong. But they're the little ghosts from Pac-Man, and they're about, I don't know.
Flip you around.
They're about, I'd say, 8 or 9 inches tall, and they light up, and when you play music, they flash different colors to the music.
Pretty awesome. He's into lights.
I love weird, funky lights.
Yeah, he does.
And hey, for like $12 a piece, they're fun. I would not have paid like 60 or 70 or whatever they were originally going for.
Eric says, "Yep, I'm in the El Dorado-ish area." Yeah. Notice that I mispronounced it on purpose.
Yeah, and for you non-Kansans, for the non-Kansans in here, yes, they pronounce it El Dorado here in Kansas. They're not cool with the rest of the world saying El Dorado. They gotta Kansify it. Just like everybody says here, they say Salina, whereas anybody else in the U.S. that read that word would say Salina.
And I asked my mom, she was born in Kearney, but I asked her, are you sure that's how? Because she sometimes mispronounce things. And
yeah.
I said, are you sure you don't mean Kearney?
Yeah.
She said, nope. We had to ask somebody at a fast food area. What is it really? Kearney is how you say it, and they say, yep.
Yeah, Kearney. That's in Nebraska. So yeah, Nebraska and Kansas like to say their words really funny.
The best said in Arkansas too.
Oh, here's my favorite thing about Arkansas. The people are called Arkansans. No joke. And we listened to Sarah Sanders do her State of the State speech because we love Sarah Sanders. She's awesome. It's so funny because she kept saying things like, "Oh, we're gonna do our best for all our Kansans," and it sounds like she's saying all of our Kansans. It's like, why is she gonna do so much work for the people of Kansas? But she said it all through her speech, all our Kansans. And it's funny that it's called Arkansas, but the people are Kansans. Because I guess it's too hard to say Arkansans, right?
Arkansans.
That would be weird. Arkansans.
Well, how do you say people from Indiana? Indians.
Indians. Yeah, that's a good question. What do you call the people from Indiana?
Because that's a mouthful right there. Indians.
Maybe it's just like Indianans. It does sound weird, though.
Yeah, it takes too long to say. It's like pepperoni.
I think they should say Indians. It'd be funny.
On Friday, we should have done a live for the lightning show that was here on Friday. That was amazing.
Yeah. Do you guys know? So we're from Oregon. Does anybody know what you call a person from Oregon? I want to see if anybody knows.
Eric says Indians. Let me see how you say that. Indianans. Yep, I guess that's what you'd say.
All right, guys. So what do you call a person from Oregon?
Stupid.
Don't answer it. I got a special answer.
Oregonians?
Who said that?
Eric?
Nope. The correct answer is potheads. That's what you call somebody from Oregon, because the whole state smells like pot.
Dale said Oregies.
Hey, that's a good one.
And Beth says Oregonians.
No, Eric is technically right. It's Oregonians. But yeah, it's really sad. They legalized pot there. You know, back in they were one of the first states to do it. I think they were like right behind Colorado, and it just ruined the state. And now when we go back, it's just sickening because every store you go in, every motel, any building you walk into smells like pot.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people smoke it, and they just give off that odor, so then it just stinks up like every building you go in. So I'm just like and sometimes outdoors too. Sometimes people just walk by and you just, I don't know.
Yeah, let that be a lesson to all you people out there. Don't allow pot to be legalized in your state. Otherwise,
unless you like the smell of pot.
And you like to have homeless camps.
Yeah. Oh, it was like...
Because that comes with it quickly thereafter.
Yeah, homeless people just started moving in like crazy.
Dale says, no, they want to do that here. Yep, they already started in on Wichita.
Yeah, Wichita, what we heard is they didn't technically legalize it. They just decriminalized it. So it might as well be legal.
Yeah.
And if Wichita did that, I'm sure a lot of other cities are going to follow.
Dale says cat pee smell.
Yeah, I can't... that odor is just so nasty to me.
So we had a little home out in the country in Oregon, and then after they legalized pot, then there was a marijuana farm that got started up probably about 5 miles from our house. And anyway, we like to go for long walks in the evening, and
as you might have noticed,
we walk the loop, and it's on the loop, and we would just gag every time we went by.
Yeah, even the plants themselves.
Yeah, it's gross.
Stink. Plus, it brings a lot of organized crime. There was a reporter that did a whole like undercover deal talking about there's like illegal grows. There's actually, I kid you not, and you can find this info online. There's people from like other countries that literally set up these illegal grows with like armed guards and like scary dogs, and they'll put them like up in the mountains, and the cops won't go near them because they all have like guards with like big machine guns, and they steal the water from the farmers, but nobody can do anything about it because everybody's scared of them. They have these big compounds. I've heard there's people from like all different countries.
Like, where was it from? Was it like Russia? Where was it from? Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, it was some bizarre countries that you wouldn't even think about. And they come in and they set up these things, and they do illegal grows, and they steal all the water, and they ruin these communities. But like nobody will stand up to them because they're like small towns, and the sheriff is like outgunned. Like, what's he gonna do? Roll up on this compound with like 10 guys with machine guns? Like, that isn't gonna happen.
But there's the beautiful city lights.
Yeah. So it's funny because, it's legal to grow it, but I guess it's an expensive thing because the state's greedy. They want their cut, so they tax it so much. So that's why these guys come in and set up these illegal ones so they don't have to pay any taxes or get any permits or anything.
Strange days.
But anyway, yes, marijuana will ruin your state.
Very quickly, like within the decade, it'll be done.
Yeah, Oregon is just like a crazy land now. Just we were from a town of 30,000, which is not that big. And it was full of homeless and drugs, and we would see people shooting up in public. You'd see people like out of their minds on crack, like walking the streets. It was like a daily thing.
And just like 10 years before this had happened, like you could walk the streets at midnight with no thought of being threatened.
Yeah, it used to be Oregon used to be, I would say I am very thankful to God that I got to grow up there. It was
beautiful.
It was the best place to be a kid, but not anymore.
It just doesn't exist anymore, not the Oregon of our youth.
Yeah.
And Dale said Oklahoma is already suffering from it.
Oh, yeah. We just drove through Oklahoma, and yep, we saw a lot of pot shops, and yeah.
We did like Oklahoma City, though. That was a beautiful city.
Yeah, that was
I did really
nice.
like that.
But we did get a lot of marijuana smell in different places we went.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it soon will not be so beautiful. Yeah. Which is a real pity.
Yeah, these states, they get greedy. I think that's why they voted all in, because they're like, oh, we get to tax it and make all this money, but it's like, it doesn't work out that way, because all the problems it brings in
cost a lot more.
Yeah, it costs a lot more than any money you make off of it. It's like, but I think they don't think that far down the road. They just think, hey, we get to tax this and make a bunch of money. I don't know. I don't know why they do it.
And Dale said, did you go down to the bombing memorial? In was that around in Oklahoma City?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
We were actually on a mission to get to Texas.
Yeah, we went to Waco.
So that was the purpose of our trip, was to go to Waco, Texas. But we just stopped for probably like 2 hours in Oklahoma City.
Which is funny, because he asked if we went to the bombing, which was linked to Waco.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, because the man was upset. He was upset that the government did that to the Branch Davidians in Waco, and so that's why he bombed the building in Oklahoma City.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we just wanted to experience a little bit of Oklahoma, but maybe someday we'll take a trip just to explore Oklahoma.
Yeah, we liked it. The thing that I really thought that Texas was just gorgeous, because it was the springtime and everything was green with the flowers blooming, and it was like otherworldly, because there was urban sprawl for as long as you could see, for hours and hours. And it was just so weird, because you could see these rooftops go on for miles. It was like looking at mountains or something. It was just so otherworldly, and there was all these overpasses, and it was just like a really neat sight to behold. But yeah, wouldn't want to live in that traffic myself, but I definitely enjoyed driving through it.
Yeah, and it was really nice weather when we were there. Yeah. Beautiful.
Eric says, well, the government benefits from the taxes. They don't have to suffer the consequences of the problems.
Yeah, that's true. They just kind of shovel them off on the people.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, it does ruin their city, and I'm sure it costs them something. Because, like, Portland is just being destroyed. So,
yeah, it destroys all businesses.
Yeah, so what happens is businesses leave the state. So here's what's going on in Oregon, y'all. In Oregon, in the biggest city, Portland, which is a war zone, Walmart closed all of their stores. There's now no Walmarts in all of Portland, because there's just so much crime. They can't survive. Like, people just, if you want to have some good entertainment, just go on YouTube and look up like what's wrong with Portland. You'll find like dozens and dozens of videos. Even their local news station does like stories about how bad things have gotten. And like, oh man, I was watching one video about people just run out, they just grab all the merchandise they can and run out of the store, and nobody will stop them, and the police won't do anything. And they were showing one cop, and basically a lot of the police, their full-time job is running around Narcaning people that are about to die from an overdose. They literally just go from place to place administering Narcan. It's disgusting. Eric
says, well, that's crazy. If you could shut Walmart down, shaking my head, man.
Yeah. Walmart's also closing a bunch of stores in, is it Chicago? I think it's in Chicago. They're pulling out a bunch of
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think they closed 4 stores in Chicago or something. But yeah, I mean, think about that. These people are going to be hurting, because like all the poor folks, they can't get their goods at Walmart anymore. Like, what are they going to get cheap, groceries and stuff?
Which may be good, because then we'll stop supporting China so much.
Yeah, that's true. Walmart basically is just China.
Yeah. Hey, Rebecca.
Hey, welcome to our little late night jaunt across the farm country.
You reached us at the tail end of our life. We're almost back home.
Oh, we're not going to go south now, since we didn't go a full.
Somebody's tired.
Oh, okay. I guess we'll call it when we get back to Little fairyland.
Yeah, little light
you guys
fairyland.
See our little fairyland up there?
You kind of see the lights of the fence posts.
Well, let them get close so they can see how pretty it is.
Eric says liberal utopias.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the people just keep voting that way.
Yep.
But
what do you think about that, baby bear?
But that's the thing, like these cities are going to lose, that's how they'll lose all this money, because all the businesses will leave their cities and they lose all that revenue.
Rebecca said, that's okay. Headed back home. I should be in bed. We should all be in bed. We should all go to sleep.
We got to get in our nightly walk, though. It's important.
Yeah, it is important. And like we're trying to lose some weight. We're trying to be good.
Be more healthy.
For like a couple of years now, we've not focused on that so much, and we've gone south. So Eric says, have a good night, y'all. Good to see you. Good to see you too. Have a good night.
Don't forget to feed the chickens.
Neil's saying hi to Rebecca. And so is Dale. What about Paul and Phil? We love to refer back to old Saturday Night Live skits.
Yeah. Oh, you guys
Some
remember,
of them are pretty
you guys
good.
Remember when Saturday Night Live used to be funny? Those were the days. Now it's basically just political commentary, just like all the late night shows. We haven't watched late night shows in years because it got to the point where it's like they're not even trying to make jokes. They're literally just coming out every night going, Donald Trump bad. It's just ridiculous. It's like, aren't you supposed to at least pretend you're making jokes? Isn't that the point of the late night shows?
No.
But no, not anymore. It's like, oh, we just want to come on there and be woke and
I don't think
stuff.
that's how they get paid.
Yeah. Anyway. Oh, there's our little...
Yep, there's the little fairyland. I'll stop and show you guys.
We definitely feel blessed to have this beautiful little place out on the prairie. This is one of the coolest places I've ever lived.
Yep. Dale said when Chris Farley was awesome on it. Yeah, he was so funny.
Oh my goodness, that guy is so classic.
Chris Farley and Adam Sandler.
Yeah, that was the best years of SNL, when it was Farley and Sandler and Spade and who else was good back then? Did I say Sandberg? Yeah, we said.
Who was the guy that would do the President Bush?
Was it Phil Hartman?
No, I loved him.
Oh, Phil Hartman was
I'm
great.
thinking of the skinny guy that would do President Bush, like the first President Bush.
I can't think right now. Well, Will Ferrell, of course, has to be mentioned in that group too.
Dale said, in the van down by the river.
Oh yeah. That was some classic stuff. I never missed an episode.
Okay, you fine people. We're gonna call it a night.
Home at Little Fairyland.
Yep. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
Nice to see everybody. Here, you gotta wave good night to the folks too.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks for popping in. Hope to see you all again soon.